This might be the worst oil filter I've ever seen. Welcome back to the Iron King Inc. YouTube channel. Today, we've got a 950M wheel loader in the shop today. There used to be a D10 here, now it's a 950M. Let's go take a closer look at this thing. So I picked this machine up from our cat dealer of all places. This was a trade-in, so a customer bought a brand new machine, and this was the old machine that they traded in. It had too many hours for Cat to sell it as like a certified used machine, so I went ahead and purchased it for myself. And I can't believe how clean this thing is. So I only saw a few pictures of it when they sent me an email and said, hey, Quentin, you want to make an offer on this machine? And I said, sure, I'll give you this much. And they said yes way too fast. So there's got to be something horribly wrong with it. But from the outside, it looks very clean. So this is a 950M model. So this is a 2016 950M. So they went 950, 950B, 950E, 950F, 950, 950G, 950H, 950K, 950M. So this is a pretty late machine. It's got a cool, it's got a bunch of cool upgrades that they've done to this machine too. So let's see, we have our load sensor here. So you've got these like tip sensors, so you can see how far the machine has, your bucket's tipped forward. A bunch of cool electronic little doodads that they've added to this machine over the years. It's got a GP bucket on it. Pretty nice set of 23/525 tires. You've been wanting to see me repair a machine? Well, we're gonna repair it. But what are we gonna repair? Let me show you. So like I said, catastrophic issue. There's a reason I got it for what I got it for. I'm gonna show you why. So the disconnect is on. So we have power. This is for our hood. And I'm gonna fire it up here for a second and let you hear, because you can hear what's wrong with it. So that's one of two things, which we're gonna find out today in the video. I haven't ordered any parts yet because, well, we haven't found out what's wrong with it, but it's either got a severe rod knock, or it's got a bad injector. Now, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between a shot injector and a rod bearing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get CAT ET, which is Caterpillar Electronic Technician. It's on a laptop. We're gonna plug into this machine and we're gonna see if we can do a cylinder cutout test and see if we can locate the bad hole. Now, sometimes if you run a cylinder cutout test, it will kind of mask a rod knock as well, but we should be able to tell at least which hole is bad. And then if we do isolate that hole, we'll go ahead and remove the oil filter on this machine, cut it open, take a look, and see if we find any material on the inside of it. So usually when I buy machines, they've got a whole bunch of hours on it. This one has 15,450 hours. So this is a super late machine, so you can see that big DPF that they have on there. It does take DEF as well. And your injectors are way down there. So if we do isolate the injector, we're gonna have to take the entire top of the engine basically off and get in there, and hopefully we can locate the source of our issue. But first things first, let's go ahead and get Caterpillar ET out, plug into this thing, and see if we can isolate which hole is bad. So here's a little laptop that we got. This has Caterpillar ET on it. So I'll show you the actual communications adapter. So this is what you're gonna use when you plug into a certain Caterpillar machine, or at least the later machines with all the computers on them. So you have what you call the COM adapter right here. This piece, this end goes to the tractor. This end is gonna go into your laptop here. So we're waiting for the computer to fire up. Once it gets all warmed up, ready to go, we open up the app. We'll get into the machine, fire it up, and see if we can do some cylinder cutout tests on it and see if we can locate that bad hole. So one thing I want to do before we get into doing those cylinder cutout tests is why don't we check the oil? Just make sure it has. See what it smells like. It doesn't smell nasty. Sometimes when you have a catastrophic engine failure like a rod knock, when there's metal on metal, the oil will smell like burnt wires. So like, at least that's the closest smell that I can compare it to, is burnt electrical wires. I don't smell anything weird. I don't even see it. I don't see any metal on the oil dipstick, which usually it's pretty hard to tell. Maybe Maybe there's a little bit. No, those are bubbles. They're either bubbles or it's glitter. I think it's bubbles. Well, we'll go ahead and get back to doing the cylinder cutout test, and because it's got oil in it, we'll give it a run, see if we can get that rod knock to stop, or injector knock, whatever the hell it is. Man, I can't get over how clean this thing is. Like, look on the inside of there. There's like no oil dripping, no leaks. Oh, it's so much nicer when you tear down a non-trash machine. Let's see if the thing's done updating yet. Almost done. Here we go. Is it done? God. Why? Now I'm a technician. Meep. Come on, meow. 3 points of contact, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna plug it in right here. 950M, it probably has the newer plug. Let's see. Does it have this one? This one. What the hell's wrong with it, Bomba? Oh shit. Hold on. There's this one. That one worked. Fire it up. Let's open up ET and connect. It's talking to it. Okay. There it goes. It's got them. 8 ECMs detected. Normally I would do this with the engine running, but if it's got a rod knock, I don't know how long she's got before it scatters, so we'll try and get into there before we blow it up. Okay, we get into diagnostic testing. Whee! Alright, injector solenoid test. Cylinder cutout. Okay, ready? Cylinder 1 is good. That's cylinder 2. And we're looking for a high-pitched change in noise. There it is. That one. I'm gonna go with rod knock. It's definitely cylinder 3. Cylinder 5 isn't working. See, there's no change. Now watch when it cuts back in. You didn't hear anything change. So cylinder 5 ain't doing nothing. Okay. Turn this back on really quick. We will save our data too. So cylinder 3 made a giant change. Cylinder 5, there was no change. We're gonna save that so we have the data on those cylinders. Okay, well, I think we're gonna move on to pulling that oil filter and seeing what's inside of it. Because we did notice a big change on cylinder number 3. And then cylinder number 5, there was no change. Okay, that's why we run tests though. See if it was gonna be a cheap fix or if she was fucked. She's fucked. So cylinder number 5 didn't do anything, like nothing changed.
Oh.
Cylinder 3, you could hear it.
Okay.
But cylinder 5 didn't do anything.
Anything?
Nothing. So I don't know. I think we cut the filter open to see if there's a bunch of metal in it. We ran the cylinder cutout test, so cylinder 3 did make a big change, but it was still knocking pretty hard. Usually if you run a cylinder cutout test, it should stop knocking if it's an injector. So our next step here is we're gonna take the oil filter off and we're gonna see if there's a bunch of metal in it. Because if there's a rod knock, that metal's going somewhere and it's usually gonna end up in the filter. Well, she's got a NAPA one on there.
Small.
Okay, that'll be good enough. Do we have a used oil bin around here?
Yes.
Let's put it into the used oil.
Oh.
Just let it drain. In it. Yeah, you can see some glitter, but we'll cut it open and look and get a better check. So I've got a special cutter just for these purposes, so we're gonna go over to the shop, cut that filter all the way open, and see how much material we have inside of it. Bang. So this is it's actually an exhaust pipe cutter. I got this off of, man, I think like the Cornwell truck like 4 or 5 years ago. But it's made for cutting exhaust pipe. It's got a little chain on it. It's got these little rollers that cut into the exhaust pipe. But it works great for cutting oil filters too. Now you don't want to go too tight. If you go too tight, you'll get it stuck. I gotta remember how to use the damn thing. It's been too long. almost there. Oh, too far. I have to go this one. So go here, take it down. And then we'll just roll it around. And I'm tightening this little knob right here as I go around, and it's gonna slowly cut this filter. You gotta watch your fingies on this thing too. It's very tricky. You don't wanna go too tight, but you don't wanna be too loose either, else it'll fall off. I'm just gonna slowly turn this thing around. There it goes. Back it off a little bit. Could probably have used a new one of these 10 years ago, but you know. Okay. And you never want to use a grinder when you're doing this because it'll ruin your test, right? Because if you use like a grinder wheel or whatever to cut these filters open, it will put a bunch of more metal shavings in it. It can give you a bad test. So, yeah. Why don't we get a pair of pliers? We'll see if we can lift it up. There you go. Oh. That's all right. Okay, and then we'll lift this element out. And what we'll do is let's get a bunch of rags right here because it's gonna make a big mess. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get a razor blade. You see all these cleats in here? These are what your oil goes through, and this is what filters your oil. So you have these cleats. Oh, I can already see a bunch of metal in there. So we're gonna take this out, let this drip a little bit. We're gonna lay it on here. Now you can always check in here too and see, do you have a bunch of metal? Do we have a little drain pan we can put that into? Yeah, we need a little drain pan for a 24, ever. I've got a surprise. So sometimes you can see a lot of big material on these filters, and that's what you don't want to see inside your motor. So that, do we have a magnet here, Bamba? So now we can test and see if this is bearing material or if this is metal, like rocker shaft, something, liner, piston rings. So is it metal or bearing? Oh yeah, that's metal. Okay. You don't want to see that inside your engine. Let's just, for shits and giggles, let's get a razor blade here and let's cut this filter and see what we have inside. I got it, Bamba. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this down here. That's the dullest razor blade I've ever seen. Wow. This might be the worst oil filter I've ever seen. This might be top 10, top 5. This is crazy. So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting this oil filter material inside of this rag, and I'm gonna squeeze all of the oil out of it. You can see the oil kind of puking through here. And then when I take this off, all the oil is going to be squeezed out of the filter element, and it's going to leave all the metal. Can you pick that up on the camera? That ain't good. So yeah, she definitely has a, it's metal though, it's not bearing material. So do you think it's a piston?
Yeah, probably piston coming apart, especially if it's smoking diesel with the unburned diesel.
Yep. So our bad injector turned into catastrophic engine failure. Let's see how much metal we have in here. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. This is just one section of the filter. This engine's ready to come apart. Mm-hmm. Well, there you have it. So this thing turned into what we thought was a bad injector to full-blown catastrophic engine failure. That might not look like a lot of metal, but that is a ton of metal for the inside of your engine. Just look in here. Look at that. Metal paste. Well, let's go over some of the good stuff about this machine, since obviously the engine's bad. Let's go take a look at this thing, take a closer look at the components, and see what we can save. And maybe we save the whole machine, maybe we rebuild the engine. But I guess we'll have to get the engine out and see how bad it is. Let's go take a look at that machine. So back at the 950, we know that the engine has had a catastrophic failure. But let's go over some of the good stuff on this machine and make me feel a little bit better about my purchase. I'm gonna start with the bucket. It's in really good shape. I mean, the floor's good in it. The cutting edge is wore out, but it's a flippable, reversible cutting edge, so I can just flip that over. Bucket is good. If you look at the general condition of the machine, like all these pins, everything looks tight. Nothing looks wore out. The H-frame itself, I don't see any repairs, any weld marks on it. All the cylinders appear to be dry. Like, I don't see any leaking on any of these cylinders. So normally you'd see them seeping down here. Dry. Both lift cylinders look dry on the right and the left. Check this out. I want to show you guys the cab in here. Usually these cabs are just roached. And look at this thing. It's clean. I mean, the seat's a little tore, but we can fix that. Headliner, awesome condition. The dash is in mint condition. All the buttons, nothing seems to be broken in here. This is a super awesome score. This is a little bent right here. I think that's the only bent piece of tinware on here, is that little battery, this little door right here. We can get that replaced, no problem. If you go under the machine, I don't see a single dripping leak. Transmission looks dry. If you look underneath here, everything looks dry. Doesn't look all beat up. All the tinware on this machine, the cab, there's no rust anywhere. Like, this is factory paint. This has not been repainted. All the fenders are in good condition. A big part of this machine is the hood. So these are fiberglass. And it's got a little bit of cracking down below here, but this thing is in mint condition. Little uh-oh right here. More than fixable. Engine obviously needs a rebuild or needs replaced. I'll have to kind of work up pricing and see what we can do there. No leaks on the back. And again, the cab is in excellent condition. Usually they rust out in here or the bottom. And look at that, even like the steering system, perfectly dry, mint condition. So what I think we're gonna do is, you guys have been asking for it. You wanna see me rebuild something, you wanna see me tear down something, we're gonna fix this machine. We're gonna take that motor out of this tractor, take it all the way apart, fix all the bad stuff, put it back together, put it back in the 950M, and we're gonna have ourselves one hell of a good wheel loader. Especially with 15,000 hours on it, this machine is not done yet. This thing's got a ton of life left in it, and it would be a shame for us to part it out. So we're gonna go ahead, pull the engine out, rebuild it or replace it, put it back in and have a running machine. Guys, I really hope you enjoy these videos. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like content like this. 90% of the people who watch my videos, and I think the last videos that I put out have gotten 60,000 views, 40,000 views, 50,000 views, and 90% of those people that watch are not subscribed to my channel. So please, if you like this content, subscribe for more. And especially if you want to watch us rebuild this engine and repair this machine, you got to be subscribed and you got to click that little button with that little bell so you know when we do it. I'll see you guys in the next video.